Talk, Joe.
Yeah. Talk that talk, Joe. Wow, I like that, Nento. welcome to the JoeZONE podcast. I have a super special guest with me today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jill Levenberg.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Jill, you've been known for so much things, so much acting roles, but best known in, say, Suidooster for the role of Mymoena Samsodien. Yes. My mother-in-law wanted me to shout out. The first thing she wanted me to do is tell her she's one of your biggest fans. So I must do that. Shout out to Cedwyn Joel.
Hi, Cedwyn Joel.
Yeah, especially did something dope for her today. But anyway, besides that, you also know for the role of Ellen Pakkies, and we're also going to chat about that. But I want to know what inspired you to get into the acting career or the career in performing arts. Where did it all start, basically?
You know, I was always a little performer.
A little performer.
At home. You know, okay, firstly, there was always music in our house.
Okay.
My dad, when he was younger, he played in a band called The Dynamics.
Okay.
Yes.
What instrument did he play?
He played guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so you were like dancing to his...
You know. And he also sang.
Okay.
And so, I mean, it was many years before I came along that the band existed. But I always used to listen to stories of him taking part in Battle of the Bands, you know.
Okay.
And how my mother used to go and watch him and scream for him. And, you know, that was their golden years, you know.
Yeah.
The early years were actually their golden years because they were vibrant and alive and going around with, you know, dancing here and playing there and singing there. And so I always used to sit and listen and marvel at these stories. But besides that, there was always singing in our house. My father would always be, you know, sitting there with his guitar, trying to figure out a song. He played in the church band.
Okay.
And we loved the Beatles, you know. There was always music pumping. I mean, we had, you know, the Manhattans on, we had the Beatles, you know.
Yeah.
Even the Shadows used to play loudly, you know, and then you learn to sing along, the Carpenters.
And you guys used to sing along, you said?
We used to sing along. And he used to play records, you know, back in the day. And we used to sit there and we used to sing. And so, and we, my sister and I, you know, at Sunday school, we were always keen to take part in plays.
Okay.
At school, you know, we belonged to choirs. And then when I was 6 years old, I sang in the Kensington Civic Center in front of a huge, I mean, it's Kensington Civic Center,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah.
As a little 6-year-old, I had my first solo.
For what was what was you, like a talent show or something like that?
It was our school concert.
A school concert, okay.
Yes. And I remember Mrs. Ontong was, you know...
You remember the teacher that was helping you,
That was helping, yes. And playing the piano, Mrs. Johnson. And I remember them telling me, when you come out onto stage... look above the sea of heads. Don't look into the crowd. You know, that was the first, my introduction to stage fright and nerves, you know. Don't look into the crowd. Just look above the heads. Keep your eyes on the clock at the back of the hall. And I came out and I remember distinctly how people were screaming, Joa, because that was my dad's name, Joey. And they remembered him from... singing, you know, singing in the bands. They were screaming, Joey second, because now his daughter's singing. Plain Joey. But on the other hand, my mother was always a storyteller.
Okay.
My mother actually should have been, if she had had opportunities, if there were opportunities for our parents, if she had had an education and if she had had that kind of opportunity to be nurtured in that way, my mother would have been a fantastic actress. Really. the storytelling aspect I definitely got from her.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, there I was at school on the stage singing. That was the first encounter.
At the age of 5,
At
6?
the age of 6, yes.
At the age of 6, did you have stage presence or something like that?
Well,
Because the people were shouting like, Joe, like.
I think they were more excited that it was Joey's daughter.
Okay.
But I got through the song from beginning to end.
Okay.
When you come to the end of a lollipop, that was the number. When you come to the end of a lollipop.
I thought you were some sort of protege, like the Jackson 5, or something like young Michael, 5 years old, dancing and singing. Okay.
Yeah, like my dad definitely pushed music, but they didn't push us into any kind of direction in that way. Like Michael's dad,
Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson. I was Joe Levenberg. This is Joe Jackson. And then throughout school, all the plays in school. I was always keen to, we did Oliver Twist, the musical. We did an excerpt of that. And
so this was like, it was good programs in school that time or something like that. Like,
the teachers were so invested.
In the arts?
In the arts, in the kids. Back in the day, I remember they used to really be so hands-on with extramurals and after-school activities and, pushing us to sing and to perform. I'll never forget Mr. Jerry Hendricks. He was our Standard 5 teacher, one of our Standard 5 teachers. And he actually wrote a play, which I also performed when I was in Standard 4.
Okay.
And then in Standard 5, Denise Allen, she was my Standard 5 teacher, and she decided to enter us into this Eisteddfod, where you could go and perform an excerpt from a play and kind of compete with other schools.
Okay.
And I don't remember quite where we did it, but we performed and we rehearsed after school. I played Nancy. And guess who were the judges at that Eisteddfod?
Oh.
Charlene Surtee Richards and yes. Yeah, and Royston.
Sure.
Yeah. And so that was my first introduction to these legends,
And you met her at what age was that? You were like 12?
I was 12.
12,
I was
like
12.
You Standard 5.
And I remember, because we were performing with mics, because you obviously couldn't hear in the audience, and we had these little kid voices, and then the one mic was circling. And I remember one of her notes to me afterwards. She said, "Mense, as jy mykie werk, jy los hom en jy speel en jy praat en jy los die mic, los die technicalities. You just play from the heart,
Yeah.
And I saw this woman and how vibrant she was.
Did she inspire you at that age?
Absolutely. So many legends have inspired me. Denise Newman, Vinette Ibrahim, Charlene, Ilse Klink, so many people who have gone before me.
Yeah.
It's so important for us to pay homage to the people who've gone before us.
Yeah, that's very important.
Tali Pettis and Medea Anders. I used to watch District 6, the musical, and Medea Anders used to, she performed the role of Mary in that musical. And I would watch, the VHS over and over and over again. David Crom and Tali Peterson's musical District 6.
I remember that. I remember when I just always get that. I remember that's the presenter and
Shaheem Bell, how's it? I was at school with him.
Is it?
Hi, Shaheem. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so
that's the other presenter you were saying.
Yeah, that's the other presenter. Okay. So at school, you were saying you had lots of programs that sort of encouraged the arts.
Yes.
And that's how you got sort of inspired by, and seeing these people. I mean, to meet Charlene Surtee Richards, at that age, did you see her on TV before that?
Yes.
Because she was in Villa.
Yes, she was in Villa. I knew who she was.
Oh, okay.
And, also, when you're an actor and when you're into theater and, she was so passionate about, passing on when she would speak. She had this presence.
Okay.
And so that is what stayed with me for such a long time, is how alive this woman was
Her presence.
because of her involvement in the arts. You know, art gives us life. Theatre gives us life. Music gives us life. And I can't imagine, you know, a life where those things are absent. What a sad existence. And there are people who never visit the theatre. They never get to experience what it is like to have a play, you know, happening on stage, but to have that rapport where these actors live in the space. If a movie can move you, you know, to a certain extent, I really want to encourage people to go to our theatres, because that's also a whole other level of rapport and interaction. And I mean, the theatre, when I went to the theatre as a little girl and I sat there and I watched District 6 and I watched plays, I had never ever felt that feeling that I felt watching these people telling us a story in the way that the theatre demands for you to tell the story. It definitely...
You speak about it with so much passion. It's good. It's very, very, very beautiful to see that you speak about theatre with so much passion. And I somewhat, I have a little bit of understanding of what you say. I was lucky enough to do stand-up comedy for a little bit.
wow, that's hard, eh? That's hard.
But I stood on a stage, and to have that rapport, like you say, to have that back and forth, and people laughing for your jokes, like reacting to your art that you put in on display. It's like, oh, it's another feeling. It's I equate it to it's almost like a drug, the feeling of like you just can't explain it.
Absolutely, so, that energy.
The energy,
it's passion and energy.
And it's not like it doesn't translate like on film. Like people watch stand-up comedy on video and they say, oh, I don't like that comedian. But then I say, but have you seen him in a theater? Have you seen him live? Like, have you seen that live? Like, because it's totally different. It's a totally different experience to be in the room.
Yes.
So I've also experienced some theater. So I know what you mean by witnessing it. I haven't been on stage in the theater, but I have some understanding when it comes to just being on stage and having that sort of rapport. So when was your first time, your first big time on stage? How old were you when your first big show on stage?
Well, I mean,
like your first theater
my first theater experience. So when I was at Rhodes High, they used to have this program called Music Active, and you know, that's why I get so sad when at schools, the first thing, you know, when people have budget issues, the first thing to be cut is drama or music or the arts. It really stunts the growth of the child.
Yeah.
You know, it affects the potential, I feel,
100%.
For growth spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally of that child.
Yeah.
And we were so lucky that Music Active was featured at that point in time, because again, some passionate teacher, I don't actually remember in Rhodes High who entered us for that, but passionate teacher got us involved. We performed together with other schools who were also sent to the Music Active program. And it was fantastic because now you could meet other youth from other schools, and you get together and you work on something.
Oh, so you're all working on a play together.
Different groups, and then the different groups perform for each other on the stage at the Baxter. So, you know, to be 16 and then to have this experience of the real theatre, the acoustics, what the seats look like and feel like, what this, you know, the proscenium arch looks like, what these curtains look like, the lights, the mechanics of this machine. And, you're standing there and the curtain goes open and there's the audience. It took that magic further for me and, opened up another world because here we are under the lights and something came alive, and they say, there's a quote that says, once you become real, you can't become unreal again. And so for me, it was once I had tasted and felt that magic, it was over. Over's good overs, game over.
Yo, the way you just explained it.
Game over.
Me and he was like hanging on every word. That must have been a feeling that, the way you explained that now, people have to be in the room to witness that.
You have to see it live.
You have to see it live. So you experienced this feeling at the age of, what is that, 16 or something like that?
Yes. And then, of course, Rhodes High had many productions. And so I was always in a play. And I was in the choir, and then I became a prefect and I became a leader, the prefect in charge of the cultural committee. Yeah. I used to enter talent shows. I remember singing in a talent show at Rhodes High, the song from The Little Mermaid, "Look at the stuff, isn't it neat?" And I won that year. And that was it was always performing somewhere. And then I also, I was doing flamenco dancing with the Wolven Dance Theatre, the Wolven Dance Company.
Okay.
And with the late Veronica Williams. And, she started the Wolven Theatre, Dance Theatre in Kensington. And Shirley and Elaine and Cheryl, these women who took of their time to give, young brown girls in our community ballet lessons and we called it Spanish, flamenco dancing lessons. Yeah. In a broken classroom, broken floors, never really the right kind of facilities. Yeah. No money, working tirelessly to get us.
Did you have the right shoes even?
Yeah, no. We that's the thing. They work tirelessly to raise funds, to get the school out there, and also to be able to get us to take dance exams and actually get graded.
Okay.
So that definitely also shaped me in terms of performance. The dance aspect,
So you were like the triple threat at the early age, because you were doing singing, acting, dancing, right?
Yeah. I wasn't a very good contemporary dancer, but the classical, flamenco and ballet.
But were you at that age? Were you aiming to do all three? Was it like a concerted effort to get better at the arts, at these performing arts?
I didn't think of it in that way. I was just lucky that I had people on my path who were going, come to Spanish, come to ballet.
Okay.
My mother then would go, you need to do something in your spare time because you don't want to get influenced in the wrong way or in the wrong things.
Exactly.
So you've got amal die aunties wat, you can come to Spanish there. I've got a leotard for you. You can borrow my flamenco skirt. Just go there twice a week, and on a Saturday morning, you've got something to do for half the day. And mold you in this way. Back in the day when every child was your child and every mother was your mother. En jy kan enige ma kan vir jou uitgeskel het of gesê het, go there rather or do this.
That's lacking in our communities now.
Definitely lacking. Now people take offense, whereas it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah, I was going to exactly raise that point. It takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially when it comes to like the arts and like getting people or kids involved in the arts or taking them from like come like you saying come let's do this now.
Yes.
There's so much times in the past where I told you I do a little bit of martial arts, but I remember like there was a more concerted effort to get boys off the do a bit of boxing, do a bit of weightlifting, or do a bit of sports or whatever and stuff like that now. And now maybe there's not so much of that, or maybe there is, but I just don't see it that much.
Yeah.
But I know in the schools, in the governmental schools, there's not so much arts happening anymore. And there was before. There was much more like just art like drawing. There was like a lot of that was like a subject in schools before, and woodwork was a subject in school. Now they moved away from that. And I don't know if that was the best idea to do that. Like,
there's a problem in this country, and it starts at the top. Our government does so much for sports and sports heroes and sports development and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And, sports is always pushed in schools. I live for the day when I can see the same type of energy being pushed into the arts, being pushed in schools and
I like this point that you're bringing up, because I can see this,
the difference. And not everybody is sports inclined, you know what I mean?
Yeah, orientated. No.
Orientated.
Yeah, they're not everybody's
not everybody's a soccer player
or a rugby player or built like a rugby player.
Exactly. And so what do you do with those kids who really are creative and who can express themselves in other ways, but there isn't an outlet for it?
Yeah.
Also, it's a double kind of whammy issue, because just like sports gives you that release and the rush of endorphins, and so you can, obviously boys or girls who would normally maybe be a little bit, with dysfunctional homes, be a little bit aggressive or whatever, because of their involvement with sport, that's diffused. It gets diffused.
Yes.
The energy can go somewhere. What about the kids that now are not sports orientated?
Yeah.
There's nothing for them. Where does their energy go? Drama, music, the arts is healing. It's an outlet. It is so important for kids to be able to play in that way. Yeah. It is so important for their cognitive abilities, for everything, for their expression, for their confidence.
Yes.
To be able to play and create and express. So it's a sad thing. And I mean, like I say, it starts at the top.
Yeah.
If we look at the state of our arts today and the state of our artists, the fact that the artists are not supported in terms of, medical care, in terms of pensions. We remain freelancers. And then when we do a job, we get taxed 25%.
That's a lot.
Yes, but we do not earn, we don't get all the benefits. So policy in terms of the arts needs to be looked at in this country, and we've been saying this over and over again. Jack Devnerin was on ENCA the other night, and speaking again on behalf of Saga in terms of the fact that, laws surrounding our image in this country have not been looked at since the 60s. So we do not own our images, which means, the same like musicians can get royalties, actors do not get
the royalties
repeat fees, we call it.
Okay.
In other countries, that's normal.
Yeah, you get like a check every month. Like you hear actors in movies in America, in Hollywood speak about it, where they get like, even though they've done the movie, they get like 25 cents a year or something like that for the movie for the rest of their life.
Or if it's played.
If it's played somewhere on.
We can make a movie and you will get paid once off for that
This is in South
movie
Africa?
In South Africa. That movie can then go and be played over and over again on different channels, whatever work you've done, without you seeing a cent.
Sure.
So we've got a serious problem.
So why
With
does this
regards-
law not change?
What is the Minister of Arts and Culture doing with in relation to this? What have the previous Ministers of Arts and Culture done? We had a rally where, actors marched a couple of years ago and met and signed petitions. That petition, I don't know if it's still lying on Cyril's desk or what's going on, but the laws don't get changed.
Is that why, it's American companies are so keen to come do movies here because so much of the people don't get paid for it or something like
there's
that?
also, we are not protected in terms of income, so there's definite exploitation going on in terms of what actors can get paid.
Yeah.
And what they are supposed to be paid, what they're not paid.
It's a real problem because,
Yeah.
you mentioned Charlie and 30 Riches and there was big rumors that she didn't die. When she passed, it was not in the
Absolutely.
best financial
Absolutely. And look at that
State.
icon.
yeah.
Look at that icon.
Look at all the stuff she's put out there.
Do you think a sports icon will die in that type of position? A sports legend will die in the same circumstances like she did? That is the reason also why I feel like, sports and arts should be divided. Sports should have its own category and arts should have its own portfolio in this country.
Can I just interject, man? You were talking about Solis. There's an incident that happened that she remembers when the movie played in her hometown. It was the first time that they actually allowed colored and white people and black people to sit together to watch the movie. So the arts is so important that it creates that change, but yet you don't want to put the effort and to make the people that create the art. Another example is when COVID hit, nobody could work. Everybody was stuck in their homes. What did we run to? We ran to movies. We ran to the DJs played on the
Series and
the series, music,
Thank
all
you.
the arts. You
Thank
know what I'm
you.
saying?
Thank you.
And yet the world didn't realize how important the arts are.
Absolutely, absolutely. People look at us and they see glamour and glitz. And it really isn't that glamorous. It's a lot of work, a lot of hard work. When your day ends at work as an actor, especially on a soapy, you go home and you've got homework. You've got to learn your lines for the next day. If it's a difficult storyline, you've got to prepare yourself mentally. There's a lot of work that goes into what we do. There's a lot of sacrifice. Very often, we've got to go and dig deep to bring those emotions, from whatever experience or wherever they sit in our bodies. We've got to go there in order to be a channel for other people to feel so that they can have some sort of catharsis or healing experience in their life. So we are vessels, we are teachers, we are healers, we are so many things. And we are not lauded and cherished enough in this country. We are not protected enough. We are not treated properly. Our laws with regards to artists and their well-being in this country needs to change. It's time.
I 100% agree with you. We on this podcast here, I recently told Nantel that actors in this country is a lot different to actors in America. Because all the actors or the people in the arts that I've met or just had conversations with, they're different. They're in it for the love of the craft. They're not in it for Hollywood and the money. You know what I mean? They don't go to
Absolutely
Hollywood
not.
to get fame.
Yeah.
I've never met a South African that is looking for fame through through doing acting and just creating movies. Even the stuntmen that I know, or the one director that I know. I mean, it's interesting, and that's why I've started to gravitate to want to speak to you guys, like, because it's not about the money, and that's what I like. It's about the craft.
Yes.
It's about the feeling that you get from the audience.
Yeah.
And you guys are just a different type of people, man. So African actors are just a different people. I don't know. I like you guys. You're a cool bunch.
Oh, excuse me. I left the house with wet hair, and now look. You need to listen to the old folk, eh?
Just checking if there's any questions coming through. You got a lot of people interested in the arts.
We're going to play Matchmaker tonight as well, eh?
Sorry, what did you say?
We're going to play Matchmaker tonight.
Oh, really?
Hello, my crush.
Oh, okay.
Your biggest fan. You got a lot of biggest fans, yo. Everyone is your biggest fan.
Oh, wow. There's Shaheem. Jill forced me to be a cheerleader one year at our Rhodes High School sports. Maybe you were a cheerleader. What a joy it was. Yeah, I was a cheerleader too. Oh my word, I was always doing so many things.
So after high school, you went to UCT, am I right?
No,
No,
not directly after high school.
Not directly?
No. Look, there was never any talk of university because there was never any money in our family.
Okay.
So that wasn't really spoken about because it wasn't an option.
Okay.
Humble beginnings, coming from humble beginnings. So when I was done with school, I decided to go and work for a year and to save up money, because I knew that I wanted to travel and I knew that I wanted to study. And I'd done research and I found out that, okay, you want to travel, so you don't have money. What's the cheapest way to do it? The cheapest way is to go overseas and be an au pair, because at least you're going to be working for a family. You're going to be living in their home, so they'll cover your rent, they'll cover your food, you'll get a little bit of pocket money. And also, I like to immerse myself in things. So when I thought about traveling, I said, I want to go and live in another country. So I can really soak up the people and the culture and the food and really live and feel it,
Yeah.
I didn't just want to pass through. So what I did was, when I matriculated, my parents also took on extra jobs. I worked at Top CD and Saf Marine and saved money.
Saf Marine.
Saf Marine.
Where, the one in Riebeek Street?
Yes, because my mom
Saf
was a
House.
tea lady there.
Is it?
Yes.
My dad worked there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Maybe my dad knew your mom. I mean, my mom knew your dad. Anyway, and so I saved up money and my parents helped and we got the money together. And at that point in time, there was no email, etc. So we did handwritten letters. I went to an agency in Cape Town, au pair in America. And they looked at my interests and they looked at the family in America's interests. And then we had to write letters to each other and kind of see how we bonded. And then you get a phone call and they were like, okay, we like this girl. And I've matched with the family. And then after the year of working and sacrificing, getting the visa and everything, I was off to America at
Shoot.
the age of 18.
Nice.
Yeah. And I went to live in America for a year.
What state?
Maryland.
Maryland.
Yes, Maryland, which was right next to Washington, D.C. So I
Okay,
was
so
always
that's like up in the corner.
in the south. Yeah, in the south. On the
Baltimore's close to that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, beautiful place.
But it's a weird place, eh? It's you see the nice trees and stuff like that, and then you the inner city.
Yes.
It's worlds apart, but
Worlds
it's
apart.
not so close together.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So, yeah.
And I was always, excuse me, I was always jawling in DC.
Okay. How far is DC from Maryland?
Well, it was a train ride, a couple of stops.
Cool.
I used to take the
At
metro
18,
at
like,
18, 19, and turned 19 when I just got there. And I loved it. I looked after 3 little girls, Maya, Marcy, and Mandy,
Yeah.
from 3 different families. And
All with him.
all with him. And
You like your repetitive coincidences. So to be
I don't know
a
what
theme.
happened there. Yeah, and I lived with a wonderful family. It was so funny because the mom's name was Cadden, and that was my sister's name.
Again. A repetitive theme.
Look at this. And then her son's name was Josh, which was my dad's name, Josh,
Okay.
but they used to call my dad Joey. Crazy how these things happen. And then they had a daughter, Shanti. And anyway, I lived in this American neighborhood for a year and just loved it. And then I babysat everybody's kids to make extra money.
Did you do anything, singing, dancing, any?
I used to go to jazz clubs, and I remember when I was traveling, I saved up money and I traveled from New York across the south of America to San Francisco on a bus called the Green Tortoise with 33 other people.
Okay.
And so we would travel, camp out. And
What are the people chatting here?
Shyam! Oh,
you know?
about how domestic workers are being treated. Okay, yes, that was something. Oh. Hi, Shyam. That's one of my sisters.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so
You were traveling across the
yes,
states.
traveling across the states, and that was just the most magical thing. And then I ended up singing at a little tiny club, just impromptu in New Orleans, because we were a bunch of tourists, obviously traveling through, and now we're sitting in this bar and we're listening to this fantastic music. And somebody had heard me singing one night when we were camping out, and they said, go up and sing. And I went up to the stage and I sang Summertime.
And did the people like
It
it?
was fabulous, yes.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
So lekker.
Yeah, and then I came back after
At
a
that
month.
time, didn't you think like, okay, this is my time. Let me head over to Hollywood. And, huh?
No.
There was no aspirations of anything like that.
No, I mean, I thought about staying in the States and that, but it wasn't possible with a visa,
Okay.
etc., etc. So,
Yeah.
ek het maar weer huis toe gekom.
Okay.
And when I got home, I was again at home, this young woman, not
Can I
really
ask
any
you a question?
prospects. Yeah.
Did you miss home, or did you want to maybe stay in the States and it's just the visa? If you had the opportunity to remain there, would you have?
I would have.
Okay.
I would have, absolutely. The energy there for me was so infectious. Obviously, the States has its issues like each country does, but the energy for me, energy, it was so infectious, and I met so many fantastic people. I had so many wonderful experiences. I even did a little computer course when I was there. I did a sign language course at the Martin Luther King Library.
Sure.
I traveled to Mexico, Cancun. I traveled to, I saw New Orleans before Katrina hit it, Bourbon Street, those jazz clubs, the Mardi Gras,
You've been to the Mardi Gras?
yeah, like, the carnival type of thing.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
New
yeah.
Orleans is
I
constantly,
know about
and those graves, how they bury people above sea level. So in New Orleans, the graves are all above, in little tombs above the
Is
ground.
it above the ground?
The most incredible experiences, the French Quarter, South Carolina, Atlanta. I went to the Martin Luther King Library. I went to where he was buried, the little fountain where you throw your coins in.
Nice.
At San Francisco, Las Vegas, which was my least favorite place because I loved all the national parks in the States. I chose to travel that way on a bus where we could travel and then camp out in Yellowstone National Park or Zion National Park or in Utah. Or I loved hiking and camping and
The national parks are protected, well protected. So there's
Yes.
big, massive areas of like Yellowstone. I've heard
Yes.
about this. I've read about this. Like,
the Grand Canyon. And so Boquillo, Mexico, I remember we were on the border of the States, and then these guys knew a little hachi, and they said, okay, if we row quickly, we can go to Boquillo, Mexico on that side. We went over and we drank Corona with the Mexicans. And,
you cross over to Mexico, then you get back
and we got back again because it was
Okay.
just this little town right there, and it was these muddy waters. We were lying there in the middle of God knows where with mud baths and mud cakes, hiking, and then we're back on the bus, and then we entered, from all this fantastic nature and trails and rivers and Miami. I remember we camped
to Miami
out.
as well?
Yes, we camped out on this creek in Miami, And that's where I spent my ninth. I woke up next to a river on my 19th birthday in Miami. And, you know, it was just, I was eating up these adventures, you know, and these people. And I was traveling with 33 people from all over the world. You know, it was just Germans and Dutch people. And it was just crazy, from Koreans. And, oh, it was fantastic. And people from New York. And, yeah, and then we'd camp out. And anyway, long story short, it was just the most incredible
At
adventure.
19 to experience something like this,
19.
do you think that opened your mind up maybe to a world? So say, for instance, you grew up in Kensington.
Yes.
And you had stayed in Kensington your whole life, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
And you hadn't experienced what you experienced that trip. Do you think that maybe that trip and what you see changed the trajectory of who you became?
Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. You know, Maya Angelou has this saying which says, all God's children need traveling shoes.
I like that.
And you know, when I sometimes do motivational talks, I always say, travel.
Yeah.
Move.
I believe so too.
Move. It doesn't matter if you, can't afford to go overseas. Go to another city. Go to another state. Just go somewhere else. Leave what you know. Challenge yourself. Go and experience another culture. Go into the unknown. You know, go and feel what it's like to be in other people's shoes. Yeah. Because you inevitably come back with a greater appreciation, firstly, for your people and the place that you're from, and a better understanding of your surroundings and yourself. Yeah. People think everything is, the grass is green on the other side. But honestly, at that point in time, as a 19-year-old, I thought that we were more honest with our race relations in South Africa than what the Americans were at that point in time.
Sure.
I felt like, you know, when I went to Mexico and I had to buy water, at that point we could still drink water out of our taps. And I went, look at this small little blessing. But the fact that we can, you know what I mean? The poverty that I saw also in Mexico. But just the little blessings, you come back with just such a greater appreciation for.
I understand 100%
from.
what you're saying. I was lucky enough to live in London for 2 years.
Lekker.
And while I was living there, I obviously went all over England. But the part where you spoke about like meeting different people from different cultures, I think that's also very important.
Yes.
A lot of time people are just familiar with their own type of people.
Yeah.
And people that think the same ideas that they think.
Yes.
So when you meet people with different ideas and different concepts on how to do things and how to interact with people, it's sort of it's a good education to have, I think.
Absolutely, because, you know, your yardstick that you measure your own development with up to that point would have only been the people around you and your peers.
Yes.
Then you go out into the world and you see what 19-year-olds in America are doing, or what 19-year-olds in France are doing, or wherever the case might be. And you go, shibbit, okay, I need to develop myself a little bit more in that area, or I need to develop myself a little bit more in that area. I could do a little bit more with that knowledge, or I could do a little bit more with that knowledge. You know, you get to reflect. It's so important. You get to hold the mirror up to yourself.
Yeah. I like that what you said with your yardstick is what is, it's only but this area around you. Look outside that area. What about South Africa? Within South Africa, then look outside for that. What about within Africa? Because this continent is a beautiful big continent.
Absolutely.
Let's make what's going on here right.
What is a Zimbabwean 19-year-old doing in terms of working, educating themselves, and then starting their own business? So they come here and they're able to set up businesses quickly because they know education is important. So they're already thinking out of the box, you know. And so we've got to really expand our horizons.
Yeah,
you know. And definitely, people are not. I think what also saved me was books. I was always reading, and our kids these days. We've got a problem with literacy in this country. People are not reading. And so they're not even aware of what their realities could be because they're not even exposing themselves to books. You know what I mean? It's just the phones. And the phones have really come to mess so many things up. Yes, technology is fantastic. It's also helped us to really connect, But it's also messed a lot of things up, I think.
Yeah. So there's a movie that I'd like to talk about with you. It's like a movie that probably the reason why I couldn't wait to meet you is because the movie moved me, and your performance and Jared's performance moved me. Like the movie Ellen Pakkies story. Yeah. And that deals with a lot with what we're speaking about right now. Like AB was only within his own environment. That's all he ever saw, and all he ever knew was that environment. He never got the opportunity to maybe get enriched by the arts, like some of us do, or have that like ability. Some of our parents have the ability to put us into art school, like me maybe, and I'm very lucky that I could become a graphic designer. But there's not always that within our communities.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to talk about that story. Like it's very close to your heart. Can you take me through it? Like it was obviously an emotionally demanding role for you. How did you prepare for the movie?
Well,
sorry, I can feel even now the weight of talking about the movie, but we need to talk about it because I think this podcast, the ethos of what we're doing here is to show the positive and the negative and the positive.
Yes.
Everything of our culture and where we come from.
I had done a few short movies before then. I think people might not be aware of all of those other movies that I might have done, short movies on CakeNet, etc., and a few other movies too. And my process always starts with research,
Okay.
I try to find out as much as what I can about the story, about the surroundings, about the place, about the person, about the, obviously, the substance, about that world. And so research, lots of reading, read the book. It was just whatever I could find on the internet, researching Ellen, clips that I could find. I even found a picture of the real AB, and it was important for me to print that out and hang it on my wall. What I did was I moved away from Kensington for a while. At that point, I had come back to Kensington because, after America, I'd gone to Germany and I'd traveled a little bit more, and then I came back, I studied, etc., and then I worked in South Africa, and then I traveled again to Asia, and then I came back again. And then I'd lived, I was always a gypsy. I'd lived all over Cape Town. Oh, my goodness. Constantly moving. My uncle, rest his soul, Uncle Colin, he always, when he used to see me, he used to say, because he used to have the moving truck, he used to say to me, "Are we moving? Moving again? Moving again?" It was a running joke. But anyway, and then I finally moved back to Kensington, and set up a space behind my parents because I was helping to renovate, their home. So I was living in Kensington at the time when I got Ellen.
Yeah.
And then I decided I needed to be alone. So I moved away and I got myself a tiny little separate entrance in West Beach, very close to the beach because I'm a sea baby, beach baby.
Yeah.
The ocean is my, my happy place. The beach is my happy place. And also it's a place where I can rid myself of so many things. So I run often on the beach, and then I still do cold plunges in the ocean.
So you were preparing your mental health.
Yes,
You were almost like making your mind strong.
Yes, my mind and my body strong. I mean, I just did that now again with this play. Like before the play, a few months, I stop eating meat. I stop having alcohol. I stop.
Where did you learn? Sorry, where did you learn this process? How did you know? How did you know you needed to do this before, Ellen?
I think, that's why I mentioned all the other projects that I had done.
Oh, leading up to
because, people see Ellen or they see Numeskoli, they see the big movies, but they don't know all the other little movies that you might have done along the way, all the theatre productions. So as an artist through the years, you learn about your process. Everybody's process is different. Okay. Everybody has a different ritual for preparation. And I know what I need to do for each genre, because there's film, there's soapy, and then there's theatre. And each genre demands a different type of discipline from me as an artist, because the one is live. Your body is a machine. It's working live every night.
So physical fitness.
Physical fitness, the right diet, the right amount of sleep, not engaging too much socially, because you need to protect your voice. You need to protect your energy. When I get up already in the morning, I'm starting to run those words, those lines. I'm starting to hydrate. So I'm sure that I'm hydrated. My vocal cords are hydrated by the time I perform. I already start in between wherever I am, warming up my voice. Okay. I eat certain meals. I eat at certain times. It's important that I eat no later than 2 hours before, or 3 hours before the performance, because 2 hours before I'm already physically warming up and vocally warming up. So there's lots of things to consider, and then for the film, it's a state of mind. And
did you ever step wrong in this process? Because obviously in learning to do this, it's trial and error. But I think that I knew that I needed to be alone. I knew that I needed to run every day on the beach and empty myself out, empty Jill out of me, so that Ellen could come. I knew that I needed to just, that sea and skyscape that you have on the beach. I had that. I had one song on repeat from Stevie Wonder. What is the song?
The song was a song that I had felt became my song with my son. Because these are all personal things. Everybody's got their little things, but there's always a soundtrack for me with a certain project that I'm doing. And in this particular instance, it was, I never dreamed you'd leave in summer. I thought you would go and come back home. That one.
I know what song it is.
Yeah. And that became my personal song for myself and my son. And then, you're alone and you start to kind of get more and more and more in that world, and more and more. And so I could have my own space and put up facts and put up things, starts looking like a board around me, and start kind of feeling and sitting with, because I have never born children. I don't have my own kids. I don't know what it's like to birth a child. I don't know what it's like to really be a mom. But I've got to play not only a mom, but a mom who took a child's life. So I really knew that I needed to respect this story. And for me, that meant isolation and going and staying in that world and trying to create like a cocoon for myself where I stayed in the world. Yeah.
Like the performance, like I can imagine the just the build up to the performance, like it could be very taxing on your mental health.
Ja. Ik is mal.
But then
Yes, no, I am crazy.
actually doing the job.
Yeah.
While doing the job, you were Ellen.
Well, I just tried to stay. I wouldn't say I was Ellen. I just tried to navigate through every chapter of her life and what had led up to that point. You know what I mean?
She'd
And
obviously
then-
shared intimate details of her life with you.
Absolutely. I went to meet her.
Yeah.
We became friends. We hung out. I used to visit her regularly. I didn't visit her last year for the first time. I went to Lavender Hill. I spent time at her house. Jared and I went to the church that AB was actually buried out of. We went to a church service there. I phoned him up one day and I said, Jared, I'm going to Lavender Hill. I'm going to that. I want to go to the church that he was buried out of. Do you want to come along? And we spent some time talking to his friends that were still alive, some of his friends that were still alive, people that had known him, and lots of time speaking to Ellen. So,
Yeah, the performance that you did wasn't that much talking. It was a very physical performance because I think she was like sort of, obviously there was a lot of dialogue in the movie, but she seemed like a very, almost like
yes, she
restrained woman.
Yes, she told me that she couldn't really articulate herself for a very long time. You know, she only became expressive much later in her years. So it was also finding that swallowing down of, you know, like me, I would maybe speak up about this issue. So I had to find out what it feels like to swallow this down and where does that sit in the body? How does she hold that in the body when you don't speak, when you don't release, when you are carrying years of abuse from all of those rapes that she'd encountered from the age of 4 to 26 years old and not even having had known the term for rape. She only discovered what rape actually meant later on in her life. She heard the word one day on the radio. So what that feels like, because the body remembers, and so actors, we work with our bodies, and where do those memories sit? That's why it's so important for us to move, so that we can release certain things in our body, because things they go to sit in our bodies.
Oh, so it becomes toxins in your body.
Our bodies, you know, certain
key.
emotions that we suppress,
Yeah.
they start to sit, they start to form certain things in our bodies. They become diseases, dis-ease in the body. That's what disease is. It's dis-ease. So when you carry certain things, they go and sit in certain, that's why certain people walk like this, because maybe they always, or certain people, you know, the study of that, the study of how that affected her and her body.
You went into quite a bit of detail there. Even your posture like physically changed as you spoke about that now.
And that's why I love acting, because you can actually really climb into the psyche and emotions of somebody else. You can become somebody else, and how fascinating somebody else's story.
Yeah.
You know, how their body moves and how maybe they walk like this, and
That
why
means
do
they're
they walk
proud,
like
like-
this? Why? Why do they walk like this? You know, and that fascinates me.
Yeah.
Fascinates me. Yeah.
Is there any residue of Ellen left behind? Like dark residue?
No, I don't think so, no. I mean, as an actor, you also need to really learn what your post-process is for you to release.
Okay. So there's a
Otherwise, you will go crazy.
There's a pre-process,
Yes.
a during process, and there's a post-process.
Yeah, look, that's my journey. I don't know what other actors.
What is your post-process?
Everybody's different.
How do you let go?
That's also depending on how much time I have, how much work I have with each project.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you go straight from the one project into the next project. Because it's crazy, because you need to work. Sometimes you're doing 2 projects at the same time. So I try swimming. Swimming really, I love swimming. and the beach. I run on the beach. I go into the cold ocean. Sometimes I just need to be alone.
It's quite
and not
interesting.
speak, not be on my phone a lot. I avoid the phone as much as I can sometimes, you know. I just need to be alone in my garden, in my house with my puppy.
Yeah.
Or with the family. And have meals with friends. Or go out and vis net met jou vriende, you know. Sorry, do I need to come closer? You know,
It's quite
good friends
interesting.
and family members that can also hold space for you. And
It's quite interesting that you mention your process, right? So
Yeah.
we spoke to Mark Lotterin quite recent, like a few months back, and he mentioned his process is walking out in nature. So it was in like the woods or the forest or something like that. So yours is also very similar, as walking out on the beach.
Yes.
And it's also again being in nature and just that release and both you and him almost said like the same thing, that just being in touch with Nathan, letting go of the phone, letting go of people, letting go of the busyness of the world, and just enjoying nature in that process. So there must be a lot of something cathartic in it. You want to say something, Neto?
Yeah.
So when you spoke now, I'm reminded of a documentary of Jim Carrey doing Andy Kaufman, Man on the Moon, yeah, where he immersed himself so much in the Andy Kaufman character, and when they actually made a documentary about it, that's how intense it was. But he had trouble getting back to Jim Carrey. And then he started questioning, who is Jim Carrey now? Can you relate to anything like that, where you were so immersed as Ellen, but when you came back, and like, who is Jill then really? If you can just discard the character like that and take out another character, then
Yeah.
who's the original character then?
Look, I remember that I had no downtime after Ellen. So I finished Ellen. We had a rap party, and the Monday I was back at work being Mymoena. And that was rough. Because I could feel in the mornings when I drove to work, I would cry because Ellen was there. She didn't want to leave, because you also you start loving kind of, you know, this character, because you hold space for that person. So I would cry in the mornings driving into the parking lot because Ellen didn't want to leave me. And I was so lucky and blessed, and that's only God, because when I had to return to be Mymoena on the set, Mymoena was in this accident, so I didn't have to do much. I could lie in the hospital and kind of just slowly come back to Mymoena, you know. I made a joke at one point. I said they were wrestling each other. Mymoena and Ellen were wrestling each other.
In the bed while you were in a
to
coma.
try to, you know. But, I mean, you always know who you are, because you're the person. This is me. And those two are the characters that I've got to step into that shoes, and I've got to step into that shoes. But you do feel like sometimes, no, I can't go out. I can't see people. I just need to sleep, or I need to be alone, or I need to cook. I need to do normal, everyday things. I just need to cook. I need to have people over, and I just need to cook for them. You know, I just need to go out and sit alone in a movie house with my cap on and just watch a movie, just veg out. I need to not think. I need to sit on my couch for a few hours and not think. And just watch mediocre, terrible TV, you know, so that I can just not think, you know, so I can just not feel. So, yeah, sometimes, I mean, when you go there and you've got to figure out, okay, now it's enough now. Now you need to come, right, Mora, get up, go run, go swim. Change quickly your diet just so I can change it up. You know, go dancing, dance it out, you know, stretch it out, box it out, whatever. Yeah, so there's things that happen.
Health and wellness.
Sing it out.
Health and wellness is very important, and looking after your
Looking
brain
after
is
yourself.
very important.
Yes.
We cover that as our topics are on this podcast.
Yeah.
Looking after your mental state, like it's very important. You gotta, like people have spoken to me about, you gotta speak to somebody if something traumatic happens. Or dealing with that, and how you're going to deal with that. And a lot of, like I said, like you spoke about, like going out in nature. Marcus also spoken about going out in nature. Yeah, and I just want to give you your flowers. So, the role of Mymoena Samsodien. You spoke earlier about actors or actresses or whatever, not getting your creatives. People in the performing arts not getting their due financially, but like as a creative, I just want to say, like, you have done an awesome job, like, and you've been nominated numerous times for numerous awards. You've won some awards, and recently, like 2 days ago, you won an award. Can you tell us about that? The Woordfees Award.
Yes, the Woordfees Award. Thank you.
Woordfees Award.
Thank you so much. And I do want to say this. Today, Cedwyn is 8 years old.
8 years old, yeah.
8 years ago today, the first episode of Cedwyn was
Were you on the
aired.
first
Yes,
episode?
from the beginning.
From the beginning.
OG. And I do want to say, I'm so grateful for the Suidooster family. I'm grateful for that platform. I am grateful for the character Mymoena, and just, the work. And also to the fans who have supported us and continue to watch, and the stories, So it's been a journey, and Mymoena Samsodien has taken me to places in sy hou van my op my tone. But what a journey it has been.
Can you tell me about the movie that you won?
The Dromberg, yes, sorry. You asked
Dromberg
me.
was that?
Dromberg. So this is theatre.
Theatre.
So this was a play,
A theatre
live
production.
theatre production. And Peter Oudendal wrote Dromberg. It's based on his story.
Okay.
And the story is of a young Afrikaner white male in South African society today, gay white male, and who's had to go and dig deep. Again, we've got to go to the roots. He had struggles with mental health. He was in and out of mental institutions, depression, etc., etc. And he had to go to the roots to discover what is wrong underneath the soil. Dig up the bones. We've got to do that. Sometimes we don't want to go there. But in order to heal, we've got to pick out those weeds and go and dig it up and go and find those things at the root. And his story is about his heritage. And as South Africans, some of us know our heritage, some of us are looking for it, some of us have been hiding it away, some of us are ashamed of it, some of us don't know the answers,
Yeah.
And his ancestors, he had an apartheid senator in his lineage, right? And the ancestor that came before the apartheid senator, she was Diana from Madagascar, the slave Diana from Madagascar. So he discovered that she was also part of his lineage. And she was in the matriarchal line, and the apartheid senator had come from that matriarchal line. How fascinating.
The same line.
Yes,
Okay.
the same lineage. So, and then of course, because Diana from Madagascar had birthed Susanna with Detlef Bibo. They had kind of a brief love affair, and she was a slave, and Detlef Bibo was one of the masters, etc., etc., and he had spotted her, and they kind of had this interaction, and she thought, she discovered what love was for the first time.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is that really how it went down?
Yes.
Or did he
And
just...
then she became pregnant, and he just obviously had to leave her because it was...
Okay.
You
Didn't
know-
it happen just like that he Like, the story would be more believable if it's like
if it was rape. Well, there was the thing is he actually went back to fetch her, and even though he married,
the story
even
goes
though
on.
he married someone, a white woman, he took Diana and Susanna in, and they worked for their family.
But it's totally believable. Have you heard of Jungle Fever?
Fall in love. No, believe.
I think she was in love. She was in love for a brief night. She was in love for a brief night. Anyway, I don't want to reveal too much of the story, but Susanna Odendaal. So Peter, the apartheid senator, is from that lineage, right? And obviously they denied it. And so Peter, brave, to tell this story, went to dig up all of this and went, no, this is, die moet in die lig kom. I've got to bring this to light. These are my ancestors. And so the play is about that. And I don't want to... Revealing that. And I don't want to branch out too much. It's also about more things. And I feel like every South African should see it. It's also in the context of, mental health and mental wellness. But what a role to play. What an incredible gift of a text. Peter Oudendaal's words, to play those words. I played Diana from Madagascar, and also I played a nursing sister. What an incredible cast to work with. It was just about the work. There were no egos. It wasn't about other things, frivolous stuff. We were interested in the work. We were interested in telling the story. So we became like a family. We've traveled and we've done 3 festivals. And Kanya Falun and Luanda Sindapi directed us. And, we did Grahamstown Festival. It went out with a bang there. Then we went to Art Club now in Potchefstroom, and then Woordfees. And then I was nominated in Art Club for Best Supporting Actress, and then I got nominated in Woordfees as well, and then I won the Woordtrofee for that role. But I really said that for me the award was for my whole team, because what an incredible gift to travel with these people and to tell this true story. And it's so interesting. I always wind up telling true stories. Numai Skole was based on a true story. Ellen was based on a true story. Dromberg was based on a true story. Maanskin and Dorings, which was Halloween Armstrong's play last year, was her story about schizophrenia in the brown community and her relationship with her mother, who's a schizophrenic, and she's a creative. And I played the mother. True story, based on a true story. So these true stories keep coming to me. And I'm so grateful for that. Abraham,
you don't seek them out.
Abraham, the first movie I ever made.
Yeah.
True story. Beulah, the woman I played, is still alive in Olap.
I met her probably.
Like I met Ellen. I didn't meet Halloween's mom, but I spoke to her on the phone. It is incredible how these true stories keep finding me.
And they're uniquely South African.
Yes.
You seem to, that's the type of stories that you seem to gravitate to. Do they find you or do you find them?
I think we find each other.
Yeah, they sort of gravitate to you because, I mean, like, the lady I see in front of me today is not the same lady that I watched in Ellen. It's a different person, you know what I mean? So you did your job the nth degree, the perfect job. It's a pity that. But that movie was on Netflix, wasn't it?
On Showmax.
On Showmax.
Yes, so people can still watch it on Showmax. They can actually watch a few things on Showmax.
One day it's going to be on Netflix, Ellen.
A Christmas Chorus is another movie. A Christmas Chorus is another movie on Showmax that I'm in. And that is an incredibly special movie that I feel also everybody should see, because it speaks about artists during the time of COVID in Cape Town. And it was so special because we filmed it at the Fugard Theatre, and the Fugard Theatre had to close in COVID. And so we had all been in musicals together, so there was a few of us in that cast, in that film, that had been together in musicals performing on that Fugard stage.
What's the name of the movie? Say it
A
again.
Christmas Chorus.
A Christmas Chorus.
It's still on Showmax. And I
so
really,
everybody can check it out. Get ready for
now
Christmas. Wow,
yes,
yeah.
And
Christmas
you know,
Chorus.
Charles-Jan Lingenfelder, it's his movie, and he also did compositions for the movie, and we sing in the movie. It's a musical.
Nice.
So against the backdrop of artists and COVID, but what an incredible story. Yeah.
Storytelling.
And we also bring in a lot of our own stuff into that movie.
Storytelling. So do you see yourself as a storyteller? Is that the core of
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's so important to tell stories because you can journey with someone along that journey of the story, and then you can put yourself in that person's shoes. So people are still distanced enough that they don't have to be too freaked out, but they can still identify. And that's how healing happens. That's why it's so important for us to transparently tell our stories. Because here we go, oh, I'm sitting with this, I should be ashamed, I'm sitting. In the meantime, if you speak out about it, you'll discover through telling your story how many other people are going through exactly the same thing. So you liberate yourself. You liberate other people. It's almost like you give them the permission to also be transparent. And healing happens.
I read somewhere that you said there's healing aspects to drama.
Absolutely.
Can I ask you why you struggled with that in your second year of UCT?
Second year is tough because that's when you deal with the classics. You know, you deal with the blood and guts. You do a lot of heightened work. It's when you go to Shakespeare and that type of stuff you deal with. And I guess, that's the year that separates kind of the mice from the men. And when you decide, oh, sure, but this is not for me or this is for me. Can I really afford to go there every night, nightly on a stage? So we go through there. Sometimes you prostitute your emotions so that other people can feel on a nightly basis.
Sure.
Can I do this? Obviously, you learn techniques and stuff to protect yourself as you go along. And technique, but that is when I really had to go confront my mental health and go, can I do this? And yet, if I didn't do this, I wouldn't be where I am today because it was the vehicle that was sent to heal me. Drama. I wasn't a very self-confident person for a very long time. There was a time in my life when I was a teenager where I remember I couldn't look people in the eye. I would speak to them kind of here. Didn't have enough confidence. I kind of felt ugly and I felt very, insecure. And drama changed that completely. I always say God obviously healed me, but drama was the vehicle that he sent.
The arts can do that.
The
arts can do that. There's one skateboarder that we had on recently. Jean-Marc. He's South Africa's best skateboarder,
Wow.
in my opinion. He's from Athlone. He's got a movie coming out. Did you check it out?
No, it's not just your opinion. He's the best in the world.
Yeah, he's literally one of the best. He's the best.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's a small guy.
I want to come hang out here because you guys are this is awesome what you get to do. Speak to all these incredible people.
He's awesome. We got the dopest job. But my point was that he also mentioned, and I also spoke to him about, like, when you were young, you feel like sort of insecure being a small guy. Like, it's just the world is intimidating, and you need to find your thing, man.
Yes.
And when you find your thing, you find almost like your purpose, and you find your thing that gives you confidence that you can become the JoeZONE. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If I hadn't to find art or graphic design or just being able to express myself like I am on this platform, I would be a different person. And I think this is the reason why we have this podcast. We're here to educate people in our communities that we're the counterpunch to the negative things that's going on there. Look here, look at look at Jill, look at her, and we also want to show your journey. This is what you did. Explaining to us that you went overseas and how you got to where you got is very important, because other brown girls, like you mentioned, can see that there is a path to being on Suidooster.
Yeah.
There is a path to being on Netflix even. There's a path to being on Blood and Water. There's one director that you worked with, the director of Ellen.
Darren Joshua.
Darren Joshua, that's
Yes.
it. Darren Joshua. Sorry, man, I got so much notes here.
No problem. No
I was
problem.
looking forward to it.
I forget my own name in the morning when I wake up.
Darren Joshua. I mean, he's the amount of movies he's made. Noemde Scully, because you worked on that with him.
Yes.
You actually wrote to him and asked him to be Ellen, right?
Yes. I what I did was, because we worked together on Mymoena Samsodien.
Yeah.
When I heard that they were casting for Ellen, what I did was I just popped him a Facebook message, and I just said, look, I followed this woman's story back when it came out in 2007. And many people were very clear on their stance. No, it was wrong. No, we didn't support it. I didn't feel that way. I understood. I really did understand, because I've had my own experiences with addicts, having been an addict myself. So I understood, you know what I'm saying? And I understood the point to which she must have been driven. So when I heard that they were telling her story, I wrote to him and I said, I just want to be a part of telling her story, even if I'm the neighbor, even if I'm a dog or a cat. I just want to dra by.
Yeah, be there.
Just to be able to be there to tell her story. I didn't really worry about whatever role, I didn't think of lead. I thought of just want to be part of telling the story. And I didn't hear from him. And then I just thought, okay, that's that, I tried, like you do. And then he wrote back to me several weeks later, and he said, yeah, you're playing the lead.
Phew.
He says, if you can't do this movie, I'm not going to do it.
And I mean, you're the perfect lead. You're the perfect lead for that. When I saw the lady Ellen, I was like, no, I think the lady in the movie is more. She's more believable.
I shame, man.
I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
Did you see the podcast?
Yes. That's what I was saying. When I saw the podcast with her, I was like, no.
I'm actually gonna watch that podcast,
Because I watched it, so I know her story.
Can I watch your opinion?
Yeah.
Wide awake, no?
Wide awake, yeah.
Yes. So he normally goes to a very negative side of firstly colored people, and then also humans.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
But with this one, I think he's putting himself in that lady's shoes, because
he's sympathetic, man, and yeah.
I think this is the turning. It might be a turning curve for him personally. I'm hoping it is.
Yeah, he's sympathetic towards it, but I'm always cautious of who's telling whose story, you know what I mean? Yeah, and maybe that is I don't know. Anyway, hey you almost caught me there. Nah? Maybe that's disingenuous if that guy's telling that story. I don't know. It's more believable coming from. It's more believable coming from.
But it's a human story. So.
Yeah.
It's a human story.
But I shouldn't do that.
No, I don't know I haven't seen it. So I don't know.
You haven't seen the podcast?
No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen it.
But she explained her full story, so I understand her story and the background behind it. You said earlier that she struggles to articulate herself. Is that because she struggles with language, with English and Afrikaans?
No. She used to.
She used to.
She told me that for many years she was very quiet for many years, and obviously also post AB, she became more outspoken because she's also gone to do motivational talks, etc.
Yes.
So there was a time in her life when she wasn't very outspoken.
It's sometimes like my question would be is it difficult for people speaking Afrikaans sometimes, or are they judged, what we spoke about earlier, are they judged for articulating themselves in the way that they do, for especially we are brown people? Do you is there any of that going on over there?
I think, okay, I'm going to go away from Ellen here.
Yes.
I think in general, people have been made, perhaps even by their own people, been made to believe that jy moet reg praat. Jy kan nie in jou praat soos jy praat nie. Praat reg. Wat is dit om reg te praat? You know what I mean? I believe that, I'm so glad that there are spaces that are in film and media, etc., where people are just speaking the Afrikaans that they speak. Because daar's nie reg of verkeerd of 'n suiwer of 'n whatever nie. No, you need to articulate yourself and stop feeling like your language that you've spoken growing up is lesser than.
Yeah.
Or not worthy of being heard. So you shut yourself up because you feel like you're not going to sound articulate or eloquent, or jy gaan nie reg praat nie, so nou sê jy niksie. We need to move away from that.
Yeah. Even the terms suiwer Afrikaans is condescending.
Yeah.
So you're saying I'm fake.
Yeah.
Of it's unpure.
Yes.
And I think the work that
what does the word savor Afrikaans mean?
So if I say my podcast is suiwer, then I'm the pure one.
Pure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like pure. It's almost like saying white.
Okay, they also started saying standaard Afrikaans,
Okay.
standaard.
What is standaard?
Standaard, like kind of like net Afrikaans sonder die Engelse, woorde of whatever. Maar ons het 'n ander Afrikaans in die Kaap.
Yes.
En as jy jou Afrikaans is, my broer of my suster, praat jy Afrikaans. Because is nie net van 'n Engelse woord hier en daar nie. Daar is ander woordjies in ons woordeboeke. In ons I don't want to say Afrikaaps, but you know what I'm saying. So woordeboek. We have our own words. So it's a whole different, kind of Afrikaans, but it's not a lesser than or less worthy Afrikaans, Just because you're going to put an English word in here, an English word in there, filmmakers also mustn't get it wrong. Daar is nie noodwendig ons Kaapse Afrikaansie. Ons het ons eie woorde. Soos, wat het ons nou vroeger gesê? Obviously there's the normal thing like eif en ewe en hoe ons praat, ons whatever. Maar daar's ook woordjies. Kamstig, ons sal sê kama. Ons het ons eie woorde. Kama. Instead of kamstig. For example.
Annie.
Annie. I mean, there's lots of words that are unique to us here in die Kaap. En die is ons Afrikaans.
I want to send you a link of a podcast that we did with Professor Quentin Williams.
Okay.
Where he talks about the history of Afrikaans. The first recorded Afrikaans, written down Afrikaans, was translated Quran from Arabic to Afrikaans.
Yes.
So I don't want to go.
So it was actually the way we speak
is the original.
The original written.
I just want to say one fact. So and the proof of that is the proof of that Afrikaans was developed in it wasn't just a Dutch language. So there's words like bladsang, and that's a Portuguese word. So if it was so Netherlands, and why is it another country's word entwined in your language then?
It was the Arabic scholars or the Malay scholars that first wrote the words on documented it.
And you know that production Afrikaans? There was a production Afrikaans
Yes.
with Emile that Emile
Yeah.
did, and then he used to have, he had DVDs that he sold, and I'm so sad that I didn't get a copy because I could never get to him. I wish that there were copies in a place that we could go and buy, because that history is invaluable. That production that they did, it really traced that history of Afrikaans.
I'm going to try and get you a copy.
Oh, wow.
So I used to work for Hildewood with Emile.
Yeah.
They're in Sweden at the moment. So I'm going to try and get a copy for
I tried several
through Shaq.
times. Thank you. I tried several times to go back and forth, and then we were going to meet. Then we were there. Then we were going to meet there to buy the copy, because I also wanted to buy the copy. I didn't just want him to give me a copy, you know. But ons het dit nooit reg gekry nie, because ons lewensmal. You know, people say to you, how do you balance? I don't balance. Don't balance. There's nothing that balances out. It doesn't balance. You know what I mean? You just make it through the day. Make it through the day. Anyway, so that would be amazing. And everybody should see that particular production. That particular, whatever.
Afrikaans, yeah, the history of Afrikaans in Cape Town.
Cedwyn is actually the first person to coin the term Afrikaans.
I saw that, yeah. But now you just hear people call it Kaps.
The short, yeah. In short in that.
Yeah.
People just call it Kaps.
Daisy Kaps.
That's how we roll. But I think it's a evolving, continuous evolving language, and it's a Creole. Yeah, it's a Creole. Like every country, like. When I was in the States, there was people from African country that was colonized by France, yeah, and they had a Creole of France. So it's
like
a
dialect.
thing, yeah. So it's a thing that we melanin people do, and that we funk everything up, man. Just jazz it up, you know,
add flair to it.
Yeah.
We are creators of culture.
Yes.
If you think about it,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody. But okay, let's not say. They also create their culture,
Yes.
but we have a different, and we need to celebrate it without being what was done to us, where we look down on them again. It should come from a place of love, that we love ourselves, but not hatred of others.
Yeah.
Yes.
A celebration.
Yes.
That's what we're doing, man. We're celebrating dope people here. That's where we invite people like you on. So yeah, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
What else have you got going on besides Mymoena? Any other movies coming out or something like that?
Well, you know, this has been a year of lots of theatre. So it's been a busy year.
Okay.
Because Dromberg has travelled and done 3 festivals, you know.
So you loving the theatre?
Yes. No,
Every time you say the word theatre, your eyes like light up like theatre. Stop talking about TV, Ryan. Theatre.
No, I do love film, and I miss. Gosh, I would love the chance to be part of another movie. You know, soon. I've auditioned, and there's supposed to be things in the pipeline, but I'm not supposed to say. But there's also supposed to be a Cape Town run of Dromberg.
Okay.
In 2024, and we're not yet sure when or where.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're keeping our fingers crossed for that. There's also a book of the play coming out, actually. Peter's book of the play. And yeah, people should read it.
So he wrote the play and he's
wrote
directing
it.
the play?
No. Kanya Viljoen.
Okay,
and
so
Luanda
he's getting
Sindapi.
somebody else
They
to
directed
direct
it.
it.
The 2 of them directed it.
Okay.
Yes, they directed it.
So did they change it up for
Yes.
significantly?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
That is why.
Christo actually told me about that. Like, they changed things in theatre, and I didn't. You know, Christo Davids.
Yes. We did Queenie Ella together.
Is
I
it?
did. He directed the production Queenie Ella, and I played Queenie.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes. That won the best production, a Fiesta for the best production, in 2020, I think.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
So yeah, he mentioned that they changed things after theatre. I said, okay, I didn't know the book and the theatre thing is different, because he mentioned he was also AB. He was also AB for the theatre play
Yes.
of
Ellen.
Of Ellen, yeah.
Yes,
So he just explained to us a bit about that. About the theatre play being different to the movie.
Yes.
So how AB comes and has a conversation with Ellen afterwards, or after he dies. But anyway, you mentioned it in the podcast. I'm not spoiling anything. No spoiler alert.
Yeah. No, but he's incredible to work with as well. I mean, he's een van my broers, he's really a good friend and a brother. And the experience of working on Queenie Hulle, which was a story about spring queens. Remember that whole...
I remember that. So I used to do posters. I'm a graphic designer. I used to do posters for Spring Queens.
Oh, my
That's how.
Where has it gone?
It's gone because of all the clothing places all shut down, because it used to be different actually clothing manufacturing places that used to do the Spring Queen, but there's so much cut down of all the manufacturing gone to China.
Yes.
Therefore, the Spring Queen is gone.
Now that's what I'm saying.
That is super. That is so disappointing, because Spring Queen was a massive thing within
it was a
Cape
culture.
Town. Yeah.
It was a culture. Everybody knew, soos die nagtroepe perform
Yeah.
at the
For those that don't know,
Good Hope Center every year.
For those that don't know about the Spring Queen, maybe we should explain what it was. So what it was is that different clothing manufacturing people working in factories, they all used to do their own dresses and stuff like that. So they used to make up their own dresses, and then they used to showcase it at the Good Hope Center.
Yes, in a competition,
Fashion show competition.
Yes.
So they would all and it would be at the end of the year, sort of near knocking off, breaking up time.
Yeah.
And it used to be a whole thing. That's just I used to design posters.
Wow.
One of my first jobs as a graphic designer was designing a Spring Queen poster, and they used to hang it from the telephone post, Spring Queen is happening. I was part of the history,
And then you get crowned first princess, and I mean, look, people
and then
had
it came out
things
in the
to
newspaper,
do. They had
and it
things
was a
to
whole
do. They
thing.
had things to look forward to. They had that motivation and that passion to look forward to. Am I going to be crowned first princess? Am I going to be crowned Spring Queen this year? Yes, we can make. What kind of dresses are we going to make?
But just
that
showcasing your dress at the Good Hope Center.
At the Good Hope Center.
Your artwork on display there.
It's so sad. So much has gone lost. But we did that production.
Queenie
also
was the name of it.
At Art Club, and we were supposed to have a run at Kaka, and then COVID came. So we never got our run at Kaka, and we never got our Cape Town run, and it was the saddest thing because it was the most incredible production. The story
What is the story about?
Played off on the steps of the Good Hope Center.
Okay.
A bunch of homeless people together, and they form a family on the street. And Queenie van sy was mos 'n Spring Queen en daar. I played Queenie. Was kind of the mother to all of these homeless people and friends, and had a white homeless guy boyfriend. They called him Whitey. So Whitey and Queenie was a couple, and it was just the most incredible story. And what Christo did with that play.
Do you know how
He's
important
amazing,
is
eh?
that? Do you know how important that is? Have you seen the Good Hope Center recently? Opposite the Good Hope Center recently?
I have.
Oh.
And what's happening around there and the castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
That homelessness there is
I've seen it.
It's crazy. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
And it's rising and it's rising. Like that area is growing and growing. You made that play when? In 2000?
Gosh,
to 2020?
When did we make it? 2020, 2019, 2020? Yeah? 2020.
That's almost like crazy.
When did COVID hit us? 2020?
2020? Yeah, 2020. That's
Yes.
it.
So,
and do you know, that is exactly the period that thing has exploded now. It's like, before 2020, it wasn't as big as that. Now, 2023, it's big.
It's amazing how art can imitate life and life.
Imitate art.
But here's the thing: we had a politician, and then he had a problem with Mark Lottering saying through his art he predicts, but he speaks about what he sees, and then the politicians get angry when he say it. And I'm like, dude, you're in the position to change it. Don't kill the messenger.
yes.
He's just relaying what he sees around him.
That's an artist's job.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
supposed to hold the mirror up to society.
There we go.
That is what we are supposed to do.
So
yes, you get entertainment for entertainment's sake, but artists and players and stories, I mean, in the theater, we're supposed to go look at yourself, look at what's happening in society, look at where we are at, You know, that's our message.
Yeah.
If artists are not going to do that, who's going to do that?
Yeah, that's the job of an artist, to lift it up, and the politician is supposed to react positively and make a change, not say, don't show me the mirror of myself.
You know.
Don't show me how bad I am. That's a bad job, artist.
So be more positive.
Be more positive. Only say the good things. You know, that's censorship.
Storytelling, it's so beautiful that we have so much storytellers from our community coming up, rising up. Christo, there's so many like that like you mentioned, that what's his name?
Darren Joshua,
yes. Sorry. And they're doing cool things, like Darren does Blood in Water. Oh man, it's so awesome to see all this happening within our with like even a few of my friends are stuntmen, and they're doing awesome job work on all the cool movies that's popping off. So it's lekker to see, man. And the stuntman we had Grandpa on here. He's not only a stunt.
He's great.
Oh, you know him?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him for many years, but I know how good he is.
Everybody knows Grant. Like, oh man, that's so
he's
cool.
brilliant at what he does. Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact remains that where he comes from, what he's doing, all the top like stunt people in the world knows that guy. You know what I mean? And he's from our community. No, that makes me proud. Like,
yes, and you know, it's a thing that today people kind of give up before they've even tried. They don't allow themselves to hope or dream because they think it's not possible. It's not going to happen. You've got to hope. You've got to dream. You've got to go. If you're not dreaming and you're not hoping for something, you're dead. You are dead. And I don't care how small your goal or your dream is, whether it's to, I don't know, start a herb garden or to make a pot of soup once a week for people and take it to them, or to become a better person, or to become a better teacher, or to affect change in some other way, or to become an artist, or to become something. You've got to make your kids happier, or your husband or your wife happier, whatever it is. You've got to dream. You've got to have a goal. You know, you can't, otherwise I say it like this, otherwise you're dying your life and not living your life.
ooh.
That's a clip.
And you
How strong is that?
you better quote me on that.
I don't think we can get any better than that. That's a brilliant. That's strong. You die in your life and not live in your life.
Yes.
You've left us with a lot of gold nuggets. Yeah. I don't want to keep you all night. I don't know what the time is. I think
I've got no idea what the time is.
I think we're
We've
running
been
on 2 hours
speaking.
already. 1:41.
Wow.
Yeah, time goes very fast in here. So yeah, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for giving us of your time. Thank you for giving us your art. Thank you for inspiring young girls out there. I have 2 daughters. I have a son and 2 daughters. But it's so important for my kids to see representation out there. It's so important for that to happen, and that's why we showcase people of your talent or your caliber on this podcast. So thank you very much for your time.
And thank you, Ryan and Nantel, for doing what you're doing. This is so important. You know, there's not a lot of, I don't know, things like this happening, you know what I mean, where people can actually, you know, tune in and listen and whatever. And I think the type of people that you have on here, it's great. You know, people need to tune in, they need to listen. I'm going to definitely put this on my social media platforms, and going to be looking out as well for more of your stuff and more of your interviews with other artists and other people.
We made a few missteps, like we've had like good artists on, and then I slipped up by having a TikTok on. Like I don't
Respecting TikTok.
Nah, man, I don't like TikTok. I've said this before. I don't like TikTok. So I explored TikTok once, and then I looked at this TikTok and I saw this guy on, and it's like, hey guys, let's get this guy on. And I know nothing about this guy. So Nantel knows about this guy, and Nantel knows behind the scenes, like this is gonna be like clickbaity. So he doesn't tell me. Or did you know? You probably knew.
Yes.
So he knows it's going to be clickbait, and he has it. And we have this conversation with this guy. And yeah, this guy just goes a little bit overboard in his explanation of something, man. And
Can't really say that, eh?
I don't know. I don't know if it did.
Can't really say
Yeah,
that.
we're not
because-
allowed to say that.
No, not allowed to say it. The thing is, there was trauma involvement.
Okay.
And when males talk about the trauma, sometimes we think that they're lying, or so we should.
He
treat
said he
this-
got abducted, so we don't know how
Human
much
trafficking.
of human trafficking. We don't know how much of it is.
But I believe it. I believe it.
You
'Cause
can
if-
check the
if-
clips
if-
out if you have time.
Okay.
you look like you did interested in this
Sure, it
conundrum
sounds
here.
hectic.
No, but if we're gonna go, if we want equality in our lives, right?
Yes.
And we shouldn't just talk about it. If a female says it happened to her, we're gonna sympathize with her.
If a man says-
empathize. You know what I'm saying? And if a man does it, we should. If it's not true, then at least we did the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I understand. But my point is, for where I'm coming from, is I would like to highlight a certain type of individual and what we're doing here and how we're highlighting creatives in a space. And I don't know if TikTok is the best creatives.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I think it's a tool, and how we use it we can use it because the thing is, the way I see it, we need to be an antenna.
Sure.
And right now we have a brilliant antenna here
Yeah.
that you're not, like you say, you're using drama as a vehicle, but you are actually an antenna, and that's why you don't know why these true stories happens to come to you, because you're an antenna.
Yeah, because
So-
it's a positive antenna.
exactly. So we
So
are also
positive
antenna.
stuff is-
So we are hooked up to her antenna, and it's just
Yeah,
the world
positive
of positive,
antenna.
and just. We're gonna shoot like rainbows through our little hearts,
Like the
like KBs, and we just love the people. you know?
Yeah.
I want to say this though about TikTok. I'm not going to knock TikTok because,
Yeah.
you know, when I have the time sometimes to sit on TikTok and look through things, I'm amused at the kinds of the comedy. Firstly,
Okay.
I find that there are people who are doing some really crazy, funny stuff, and I laugh. I laugh. I find things that I can laugh about. So, you know, obviously the algorithms, I kind of subscribe to mostly certain things like that, and then music, and how TikTok has just bridged gaps to bring music, to bring people together in music and through music. And then also how it opens up conversations, because I've got an opinion in South Africa, and then an American can comment, and we can what do they call it? I don't even know. Stitch. And that is what I enjoy about TikTok, because somebody that's sitting in Algeria can comment on somebody in Sweden's
community,
thing.
yeah.
And you find a community for whatever it is that you're following, because there are so many different genres on TikTok. Yeah. It also brings people together, and they create fantastic music when they stitch one another's songs. And then you can harmonize on that person's song. That's what I enjoy about TikTok.
The war that broke out in Russia.
So you got a good algorithm. I think I got a bad algorithm, because
Yeah,
I got the
maybe.
guy doing this stupid running man on my TikTok.
So there's this,
He's doing a running man, but it don't look good.
I think you just need to give it another chance, right?
I have a bad algorithm.
so there was a war in Russia. Russia invaded whatever.
Yeah, Ukraine.
Ukraine, yeah.
Right.
And then the guys played. There was the war siren, and then he played a saxophone to it. It was haunting. And then somebody stitched it with a guitar, and they made a whole band of it, dude. And it was a stop the war type of vibe. That's the one thing I want to say.
Yeah.
The second thing I want to say. So we've been fortunate enough to have Christo on the podcast.
Yeah.
So we went to go watch Orphans. He has-
I watched it too.
Right?
It was
And
brilliant.
Did you see
Brilliant.
Christian
Bennett,
his performance?
Yes.
Dude, you have to go watch the play, by the way. But he's also on
Stephanie
TikTok.
Rasmus, Christian Bennett, and Abdurrahman Adams. What an incredible ensemble trio. And what
Brilliant.
brilliant direction again from Christo Davids.
Exactly.
Fantastic show.
So yeah, I will tell you about my experience with that. Christian Bennett, right?
Yeah.
He's also on TikTok. And he plays the auntie on TikTok. But you won't say that guy that does the auntie does his brilliant performance where he breaks down and cries. And dude, that play is so brilliant. How the characters change within that short period of time. I told Abdurrahman Adams.
Yes.
I told him it reminded me of the series Breaking Bad.
Wow.
Where his character changed, but obviously they didn't have that how many seasons to change it.
Yes.
And it was like, that's very interesting. And the character, the younger character, is autistic.
Yes.
So Ryan, Ryan Bell,
Yes.
not that's Ryan.
Yeah.
So Ryan's son is autistic,
Okay.
and he said, "Dude, this guy's playing my son. It's basically an older version of my son."
Wow.
And we had the fortunate.
Stefan
Stefan
yeah, I'm actually gonna
he's
give-
the autistic one.
Yes.
Brilliant one.
Yes.
Brilliant actor. And I told he's very keen to come on. So you can have that brilliance and then do TikTok as well, man. But hopefully the TikTok, it won't stop there, man. You will go and see his show, man. Because I mean, his show, dude, you want to cry, dude. That's. And by the way, we made a promise that we will start supporting all the plays now. I'm definitely going. I
Fantastic.
think next week we're doing Mark show.
Fantastic.
I-
And there's
I
theatre
must
on
get into
all of
theatre.
the time. All of the time. There's theatre on all of the time. There's brilliant things on all of the time.
I used to attend quite a bit of theatre when I was younger, but I don't know why I haven't seen it in a while. I remember watching Cut in the Kings, so I loved that
Yeah.
like back
Yeah,
in
I
the
went
day.
to check out my friend Webster.
But they used to, okay, but now the only, didn't you say that the one closed down? The
Few God, but
Few
now
God.
there is another performance space there.
Okay.
Yes. It doesn't run by the name of Few God again. What is it called? Oh gosh, please. This is embarrassing.
But
there's another-
the main one we never lost during COVID was the Baxter
And
so,
Artscape,
Oh,
yeah.
an Artscape,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And-
let's
and
hope we
there's-
never
there's-
ever lose those.
Yeah. Sorry. There's also festivals that come up throughout the year.
Yeah.
Suidooster Fierce, for example, or whatever. Just, they've got these little booklets also at the Baxter where you can see what's coming up, And there are lots of other little performance spaces also coming up in Cape Town. There's a new theatre now. I must actually go and see where it is. But these little tiny performance spaces. There's theatre arts admin in Observatory. They use a church hall in Observatory. There's often young performers having using that performance space and performing shows there. People don't even know of the existence of that theatre space, theatre arts admin in Observatory around the corner. You can go in on a random Wednesday night, go and watch a piece of theatre.
You convinced us we're going to get more theatre performance on this
Please.
on this.
You know what we
podcast.
should
just
do?
wanna-
Let's
yeah.
do that.
We should also just get our ducks in a row and start advertising it on our platform. Maybe that 2-minute intro, we
Yeah.
can do something there. Just to let people know that what's happening.
This is what's
That
happening.
would be great. And get maybe a list of all the theatre spaces that there are in Cape Town and because people might not even know around the corner from you, there's a theatre show happening that you can go and support,
Yeah, so people should know there's a Corpay Theatre.
Yes.
You see that people in the southern suburbs.
You know.
There's the Baxter. I've been to
Yeah.
the Baxter. Seen. Don't miss a Mark show at the Baxter. I
Fabulous.
love Auntie Merle. Me and my wife
Yes.
go see every Auntie Merle
Me
ever.
too. I've seen them all.
All the Merles. Merles having
All
a
the
baby.
Merles.
Every type of Merle.
Yeah, fabulous. Yeah, so that's good. I just want to say one last thing quickly about TikTok. There was a discussion that started. For example, this American woman commented on Tyler, who's
sweat.
yeah, and the issue of her calling herself colored, and that educated so many people.
I know about this. Yes.
On TikTok, for example. So there's also that aspect.
It was
so
brilliant
Yes.
topic. I
It was
heard
so
about it.
awesome to see us unite them.
Yes,
It was so awesome
to
because
see us unite. Everybody from all sorts was
It's
saying,
like,
"Listen,
colored
this
is
is
like,
you
listen,
know."
yeah, she's a colored girl. and proud of it.
Yeah.
One American guy said, "Dude, don't ever go after us." You think Beyonce and the Beehive is bad? Don't mess with the South African on TikTok. They like Transformers.
But
That's good.
so Ryan, there are definite positives. Definite positives.
It's just
Give it
my
another chance. Give
algorithm
it
was
another
a
chance.
bit bad, man. I need to clear my algorithm.
Yeah.
I just get the running man and people fighting with each other. I'm tired of it, man.
No.
They're arguing like.
So what
a
your algorithms hate.
There's a one guy who has a tattoo of a Jewish ear, and then
I don't know if it's real. There's a Jewish tattoo here and then a cross here and a moon here. I don't know if it's real like that.
Wow.
I don't know if it's real.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anyway.
See, even you like, wow. You see, I'm getting the bad stuff. I need to get the good stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, babe, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for sharing your time. I'm gonna be, we're gonna be checking out for more theater performances from you. And yeah, everybody's always watching you as Mymoena, and you got so much fans. Mena's giving you wedding.
And they can still follow me on Facebook or follow me on Insta. Yeah, they can check out my pages there. Sometimes I'm not that active because the phone, it can take your energy. But
now you can share this 2-hour conversation with them, and they can see the lady behind Mymoena.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And thank you for this opportunity and this lekker gesels.
Yeah, it's a really nice conversation. I enjoyed it very much.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Please like, share, subscribe. Peace. We out.